Hello everyone, it's Constance. Okay, this is going to be a little bit long-winded, so please bear with me, but I'm here to talk about our downstairs neighbors. Yeah. So this young couple moves in to the apartment below us, and I would say that they're probably in their early to mid-20s, and they have a very small child. And I would say the child is probably about 2, if not 3, somewhere around there. And they pretty much kept to themselves. Wouldn't run into them very often. They didn't cause much commotion. So there was nothing really to worry about. And then arguments started happening. And you could hear stuff being knocked over, doors slamming, shouting, yelling, expletives. And then he would, go out onto the patio, smoke weed, come back in, keep arguing. And this happened quite frequently. And so we had called the cops a couple times because there was so much commotion. And the lady across from them had called the cops as well. So we had finally called the management office and made a complaint there too, and they said that not to bother calling the police, just give them a call whenever there's an incident, and we have. However, on Memorial Day, I was down with something weird with my stomach, and I was throwing up a lot. And then laying down and throwing up and then laying down, and I heard them arguing, and I was just like, holy shit, really? And it was starting to get really intense, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, the leasing offices or the management offices closed, it's Memorial Day. So I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then I started hearing blood-curdling screams from her. It was unbelievable. I don't think I've heard anybody in real life scream like that. And I was tempted to call the police. But then things calmed down, and the only thing you could do was hear her crying. And she cried for quite a while. Cut to the next day, and I get up, take my shower. I change the cat box, I gather up the trash, and I go downstairs and outside to put it in the dumpster. After I do that, I look over, and it looks like there's stuff strewn all over the lawn. So I start walking over to investigate, and this car that's parked there that I didn't recognize rolled down their window and called me over and asked if I knew anything about what was going on in the apartment over there. And I said, well, I was just going to take a look, but there was a pretty big argument there yesterday. He's like, really? He's like, well, I'm her father. I was like, oh, okay. Um, so I wasn't sure what was going on. I didn't hear an argument. I didn't hear anything. And then she comes walking out and up to his car, and she just starts talking to him about what happened. With me standing there. Like, this is none of my business. But I didn't walk away because I didn't want to be rude. So she was telling him that they were having an argument. He threw a glass bottle at her and it shattered, and a piece of it cut her hand open. And then at some point he bit her on the back of her shoulder. And he was like, yeah, that's it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna leave now. Um, so I went back up to our apartment and decided. I looked at all the stuff that was thrown out onto the lawn from our balcony. Told Derek about it. He came out and took a look. Um, he was on a video chat with his friend Caroline, so he showed her what was going on. And I was just like, what the hell? So I went inside, and then I became that neighbor, that nosy neighbor from Bewitched, and I had to know what was going on. What better way to do that than go back out onto the balcony and have a cigarette? So I do that, and the police have showed up, so Papa Bear must have called the police. And he was talking to them. And then Mama Bear shows up and is walking over to the mess that's on the lawn as I'm smoking. And she's on the phone with her daughter. So she must have left. I don't know if she had to go to work or if she was going to her parents or what, but her mom was cussing her out on the phone. Several things like, I don't know why you caused this shit. It's not like you pay rent even though your name is on the lease. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm just like, whose side are you on? Your daughter is being physically abused and you're blaming her? Oh. And she's like, you need to knock it off. Your neighbors are listening. Which she was talking loud enough that even if I wasn't trying to listen, I could hear her. So then I go back inside and wait a few minutes, and then I go out to water the plants, and Mama Bear and Papa Bear are gone, the police are gone, and the dude is there, and he's picking up the stuff from the yard. And I was just like, oh, okay, that's weird. Has he been there the whole time? If so, why wasn't he arrested? What is going on? So I went downstairs to check our mail in our mailbox, which is in our downstairs hallway, and I hear their kid giggling to the television, which they put on very loud. Um, Obviously, shows for toddlers. Um, so he had the baby. And I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh. So I kind of waited and waited and waited a little bit, and Mama never came back, as far as I could tell. Today, I saw him with the baby outside, and they were walking around for a little bit. I was half expecting him to be smoking pot. Not that I have anything against people that smoke pot. It's just, for one, it's illegal still here in Indiana. And two, I don't like the smell of it. I hate the smell of it. I've tolerated it. I've accepted it. But I don't want to anymore. And our studio here has no AC. We don't have central air. So we have air for the rest of the downstairs and upstairs for the loft. And I keep the door closed because if Snickers comes into the studio, she knocks things over. I don't want to pick things up because I knock things over when I have seizures, and it's a pain in the ass. I don't want to do it all the time. So the pot smoke comes up through the studio window, and it's annoying. So yeah, that's where everything's at. I don't know if they're going to be evicted, if he's going to have a warrant for his arrest for domestic assault. I don't know, but she hasn't been back yet. Or at least while he's been there. So maybe it's good that they're keeping their distance. So that is what I'm going to say on that. I'm going to be doing a future video on some other personal issues and ideas and philosophies that I have about my own life and my life with my husband, and that'll be coming up soon. So stay tuned, like this video, subscribe, leave some comments down below as far as what you think, how things have been handled. I know laws vary from state to state as far as what you can do and how soon you can evict and all that kind of stuff. So let me know what you think. Love and light to you all.